half in the bag. Fuck movies.
Oh, thank God we're finally out of that plot line. I mean, out of the bottom of Lake Michigan.
That's right, Jay. And I hope we get to land real soon. I'm dying to find out who won at this year's Oscars.
That's right, Mike. I can't wait to congratulate Richard Linklater on winning Best Director.
That's right. I have no doubt that Boyhood took home every award it was nominated for. How could it not?
It took 12 years to make.
What's that? What's that? Oh my God.
Holy shit, my phone's blowing up. Emails, texts, Twitters, you name it.
Yeah, we were so far down underwater we must not have been getting reception. But now that we've cleared the surface, it looks like we could start getting data on our phones again. Fuck yeah! I have 54,000 vines to watch.
Do you know what this means?
Yeah, it means I can check my Grindr app again. Hey, looks like there's 2 guys DTF within 5 feet of my current location.
Hey, speaking of apps, I have an illegal app on my phone that downloads Hollywood films directly from their servers. It's called Trash Picker.
Whoa! Hey, you know, I saw a trailer a couple months ago. It's for a heartwarming robot film called CHAPPiE. Do you think you could download that film? I'd like to watch it and then talk about how bad it was.
Yeah, they have it. Here, I'll download it and we can watch it on my phone.
Oh, great, great. You know, I'm just gonna shut my phone off. Might as well save some battery.
Sure.
Huh. One of those 2 guys just dropped off my Grindr app. Oh well, I'm gonna go outside and take a walk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's downloading.
Huh. Well, that's going pretty fast.
Yeah, well, you know, good Wi-Fi connection. It goes pretty quick.
Maybe it's because we're up in the sky, you know?
The deployment of the planet's first robotic police units became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons. You're under arrest.
Vincent Moore is a former soldier.
The problem with artificial intelligence is it's way too unpredictable.
The Scout's creator, Dion Wilson, sees a rich future.
What interests me is a machine that can think and feel.
CHAPPiE is the latest film from Neil Blomcrap, the director of District 9. His previous film was Elysium, from the director of District 9. His next film is Alien 5, from the director of District 9. Do you remember District 9? Do you remember how good that movie was?
District 9?
CHAPPiE follows the adventures of a lovable robotic police officer that's implanted with artificial intelligence. He learns what it means to be human by watching cartoons and violently pummeling people within an inch of their life. Hugh Jackman plays a bad guy that builds a bigger, bulkier robot because the movie needs a climax. Sigourney Weaver is also in the film to deliver lines. Mike, what did you think of CHAPPiE?
Is this headache medicine?
No, I think it's heart medicine.
Well, that'll work. What did I think of what?
Mike, what did you think of District 9?
I like District 9. I liked it before it was called CHAPPiE. I'm so sick of movies.
Thanks for watching.
You remember when people used to say, that movie had great special effects?
Yeah, that's pretty much irrelevant now.
It is irrelevant. So every movie has great special effects, but nobody makes a movie anymore. It's just like a noise factory.
It's a series of images. It's a series of storyboards put in motion.
Yeah, I mean, okay, CHAPPie's a robot. This is RoboCop meets Short Circuit, a police force of robots. Like all these like boring, tired old sci-fi concepts like that it just feels like so rehashed at this point. Short Circuit is a comedy,
right? Essentially,
it's not supposed. This is a realistic science fiction film that somehow brings up the moral possibilities or debate of artificial intelligence and what it could mean to our society, which means like horrific gang members get robot bodies at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned the moral dilemma. What side of the issue does this movie fall on?
I think it's pro. Hugh Jackman is in the movie, and he has a mullet for some reason.
Yes.
And he's an army soldier who's religious.
Who's a religious nut.
Because he's religious, he's a nut, and he wants. He's building Ed 209.
Yeah.
And Ed 209 is connected to the Wolverine via Cerebro, which is a helmet that Wolverine puts on that traces his brain waves, and he's able to control it with the helmet. Although he also needs joysticks.
Well, that's an interesting...
Couldn't he just use the joysticks?
Well, that's an interesting aspect of the movie in that you mentioned Ed 209. The thing looks just like Ed 209, but it's almost the inverse of RoboCop, where there's this dilemma of a robot that's controlled by a human or has, some sort of information being fed to it by a human versus completely artificial life. Ed 209 is the bad villain in RoboCop, and that's the artificial life with no humanity to it whatsoever. This movie seems to be pro Ed 209, because that's CHAPPiE.
Well, unless you have a religious nut with a mullet in control of Ed 209.
Well, sure, and apparently that's the only people that would be in control of the
Sigourney
situation.
Weaver said, use your robot, Wolverine, use it to go get CHAPPiE and smash him to dust. And then you can sit there all by yourself and no one will stand near you. While you go, ha ha, die, everyone, die!
Yeah, I thought that was nuts. I was like, isn't that, okay.
Is it what, are we going to oversee this process?
We should probably explain, the climax.
They're lawyers, for one?
The climax of the movie is, CHAPPIE's on the loose. CHAPPIE has been controlled by these thugs so they can help him steal money because they owe other thugs money. So they steal CHAPPIE.
Sort of. They kidnap. They didn't mean to steal CHAPPIE.
That's true. Yeah, they kidnap Indian Man because they assume that he has an on-off switch for all of the robotic police officers.
Yes.
So they kidnap him. They find out that he has this robot that he's going to put artificial intelligence into, the first one, and they use that artificial intelligence robot to teach it to be a thug and rob people. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the movie, it's robbing people. Hugh Jackman has shut off all the other robots in the city, because he wants to push his robot, the Ed 209 robot. And he's willing to sacrifice the safety of the entire city to do this.
He's a bad guy. He goes to church.
Because he goes to church. So he does that, and then they say, all right, we need your robot, Hugh Jackman, because all the robotic police officers are dead now. They don't know that he's the one responsible for that. Mm-hmm. And so he puts on his helmet, plays with his joysticks, and just goes right after CHAPPIE, and there's nobody else around. Just go after CHAPPIE, and nobody else will pay any attention to what you're doing.
Because CHAPPIE robbed an armor truck.
Yes.
I guess it's bad PR for the robot division, but what also was bad PR was the fact that all of the robots just started working 5 minutes before that. I think your company's done. But go take a very dangerous robot and have a robot fight. That will further our PR cause.
Yeah.
Make sure there's lots of collateral damage at the same time.
Mayhem downtown as police have begun shutting down.
You like my pizza?
Can we also point out with Hugh Jackman, there's a scene in the film where this is when we really know he's a bad guy. They're in their office and there's all these cubicles, and he just puts a gun to our main character's head and threatens his life at his cubicle, surrounded by people, and nobody cares.
Well, he goes, I'm joking. It's a joke.
Yeah.
There's no bullets in my gun. And he's like, put the gun to his head. He's like, you're gonna die, you motherfucker. And also, our main character, what was his name? Early on in the film, there's an exciting opening where they show the police robots in action. It's like, like, yeah. And then it's like, okay, the computer nerd has to go home and play with his artificial intelligence program.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, this is day 936. And then he's like, Red Bull me.
Oh yeah, it's like this intense action music,
Yeah.
like he's trying to defuse a bomb or something,
Yeah.
but it's just him fucking around on his
And
personal
I don't know
computer.
whose call that was, but and then it's like, then they have the like really easy to read readouts.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, artificial
I'm
intelligence.
okay with that
program.
type of stuff.
98% fail, and then he's like, I gotta do it one more time. It's like you've been working on this for 900 days.
Yeah, I don't know what the sudden.
Well, sudden, yeah, but then he creates artificial intelligence and he puts it on a computer chip. Or no, there's a chip that unlocks other computer chips.
Yes.
Something, but he wants to put it in CHAPPiE, or he's not CHAPPiE then, he's just a robot. A robot they're gonna throw in the garbage.
Right.
So he's like, hey, Sigourney Weaver, you guys are gonna throw out this robot. Can I give it artificial life? And she says, no, you know, we're a greedy company that wants to sell police robots. It's fine. I completely agree with Sigourney Weaver.
You just quoted the
more-
movie exactly. This is the actual dialogue in the film.
I sympathize the most with the company that wanted to make money selling police robots. They've got a crime problem. The police robots work. And then there's all this CHAPPiE-ness. And CHAPPiE and so CHAPPiE comes alive. But yeah, like you said, the criminal element. What do they call the punks in RoboCop 3?
Oh, splatter punks?
Splatter punks. They're splatter punks that live in a factory and they steal CHAPPiE because they owe...
A factory that has drawings of dicks everywhere for some reason.
There's a lot of dicks on the wall. They owe a mobster money, and the mobster speaks with such an accent that the producer said, you better subtitle this.
Even though I could understand him just fine.
Some parts I couldn't.
Okay.
Some parts I looked away and I was like, what did he say? So subtitles help you along. But yeah, I'm guessing that was someone noted that in the test screening.
Yeah.
Which,
One producer said, what? And so all the other producers wrote down,
yeah.
subtitle this man.
Right, subtitle him. But so our splatter punks owe this guy money, so their solution is to rob, but they can't rob if all the robots are around, police robots, so they need CHAPPiE. And then CHAPPiE turns into a gangsta.
Oh, before that happens though, the man, CHAPPiE creator man, there's a scene, these scenes are right back to back, and this is where the morals of the movie get confusing to me, where they're saying, we're gonna train this robot to rob and help us and sort our drugs and all this stuff. And the guy says to CHAPPiE, no, you cannot do this. You need to promise me, I'm your creator, promise me you will not get involved in crimes, all these things. The very next scene is him saying to CHAPPiE, don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. The very next scene.
Well, he said, don't let anyone tell you you can't be an artist.
Well, no, he says, don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. Now paint a picture, CHAPPiE.
Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Write poetry, have original ideas.
Jimmy wants to paint.
Wow.
What in the name of the Lord?
Did you watch Elsum's?
Yeah, usually his movies tend to kind of beat you over the head, modern day George Romero style, with their social commentary.
Yes.
And that's fine if you want to infuse that stuff into a sci-fi story, but it has to be in the background. It has to be, very subtle. There's nothing subtle about the Neil Blomcrap. But this movie I don't know what he was going for because it's all over the place.
Yeah.
There's a scene near the end where CHAPPiE is violently beating the shit out of Hugh Jackman. And as he's doing it, he's yelling, no more violence! And I was thinking of Miami Connection, because that movie ends with our heroes murdering people for 35 minutes, and then a little title card comes up that says, only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace.
CHAPPiE was a clean slate, and humans fucked him up.
Right.
And I think,
But-
I don't know if that was the purpose.
But the
or not,
humans that fucked him up were these violent thugs who are manipulating him, they're lying to him, and then at the end, I guess we'll get into spoilers a little bit, then at the end we're supposed to feel sympathy for these thugs. Why?
Well,
Nothing that's happened in the movie has made you give a shit about them. The girl thug maybe a little bit more, but the guy thug was just like a horrible asshole through the whole movie.
yeah. They were meant to be sympathetic or sympathized with because it's not like they were just robbing for their own greed. They were trying to pay back a drug lord who was going to kill them. But
sure, but the
more-
opening, we're introduced to them like shooting at cops. And the cops are never presented as being bad guys or anything. It's not like the evil, corrupt police force.
Yeah, see, you could have had the criminal element in the movie be like, trying to survive. They have to do what they can to survive, and almost like OCP, where that's just like this evil corporation that's just wants to control everyone. But Sigourney Weaver and the company seemed very
Logical.
reasonable and logical
Yeah.
to me. So I don't know. I don't know where my sympathies lay in this film.
Certainly not with Chappie. There's some scenes in the movie where you're like, oh, Chappie.
Chappie's cute.
Chappie's cute.
He's
But
cute.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I have this problem with any movie that deals with artificial intelligence, like the Spielberg AI. Like, no matter what you do, no matter how manipulative you try to be to tug at my heartstrings, I just see it as it's still just a robot.
Yeah.
And manipulative is the word I would use with this movie, because when they turn him on for the first time, like, he should be a clean slate that has to learn and develop, but they turn him on and he immediately is like scared and he like cowers behind, stuff.
Well, he has emotions. I can't tell you how an AI works.
Oh, yeah.
I really can't. But that was another like kind of confusing part. Was Wolverine has Cerebro, and it reads your brainwaves, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then Chappie puts it on, and then it doesn't work, and then it doesn't work, and then it does.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then it becomes like a soul machine.
Yes.
Because Chappie is a program, and I'm not an expert in computers, but I'm pretty sure that Hugh Jackman's brain machine couldn't read the Indian guy's robot program. But then it does.
I thought the whole point of that scene was going to be, oh, this is Chappie realizing no matter what, he's not human.
Yeah.
I thought that was what they were leading, but then it's like, fail. Oh, it works.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. I thought he was going to go, I'm not human.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were going for.
But it sucks his soul out, and then it sucks the other guy's, well, spoilers, the other guy's soul out. It's Chappie, instead of taking him to a hospital for a minor gunshot wound, says, I'm going to put your soul in a robot.
Yes.
I'm not really sure if this will work. One night on the internet made him an expert in everything, but and then they another thing too, another confusing point. This is why this felt like a child wrote it, because Chappie plays with he steals another one of the Cerebros,
yes,
and brings it back to their secret base in a warehouse which has internet, and plays with it on the girl character.
Yeah.
And then takes it off, and then stores her consciousness on a zip drive. And then she's running around and she gets killed, spoilers, and then they're like, so it's not a transfer of consciousness, it's a duplication?
I guess.
So they could just keep making more and more of her?
Sure.
Okay, I guess maybe our consciousness can
I thought
be-
it was with the Indian guy. I thought it was a transfer of
Yes,
consciousness.
well, it was.
That's the way it's established. But then, then there's that, like, oh, I just made a copy of your brain.
Yeah, so brainwaves and brain patterns can be stored digitally, perhaps. So then, like, is that the question this movie poses at the end? Are we all just a pattern that can be broken down into ones and zeros and implanted anywhere? Maybe, if it is, that's pretty like morbid or like disturbing. And
It would be if that. I mean, you could make that work to your advantage, but with this movie, I don't know what the fuck it was trying to do.
That concept and this movie like kind of sucked all the magic and mystery and all that stuff out of a movie.
I think it just doesn't know what it wants to be. Like there's elements of it that are like Short Circuit, but then it turns into this violent RoboCop movie at the end. And you're like,
right. Short Circuit doesn't mix with RoboCop too well.
No.
Even a robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
Something of great danger headed our way now.
Every movie now has amazing special effects, but in this particular case, like Chappie, I never was like, is it a CG in this shot or is it animatronic, or it all seamless, seamless.
It's a shame that they could do all these amazing things with movies and they don't work on the script.
The cheapest aspect of the movie is the script. I can't blame studio interference on this though, because this is just Neil Blomcrap. He wrote it.
He makes good movies. He's a good filmmaker.
There's some great sequences in this. I like I mentioned before, the whole sequence where they're teaching Chappie to be a thug, and then they say, that guy stole my car, get the car back, and he violently beats the shit out of the car. Yeah. That whole stretch of the movie is fun. But then it just turns into Hugh Jackman is Batman.
Yeah.
And now there's people shooting at each other and everything's just violent craziness.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the ideas, like a little story about the police robot who becomes a gang member, is cute and works in its own context. But then the bigger picture stuff, the avatar power suits and cerebro helmets, and I'm gonna put your soul in a robot, and this went a little too far, a little too convoluted.
I don't want to die. I want to live. If you want to survive, Chappie, you must fight.
Mayhem downtown as police have begun shutting down.
You hurt my people! You think you're real?
You don't get away with this.
He's special!
Jay, would you recommend CHAPPiE?
No.
You didn't like it that much?
It was just a mess. It was just, it was frustrating because I never knew what it was trying to do. And that was annoying, and it was frustrating because there were elements that I did like. But ultimately, I was kind of bored just because it was so unsatisfying. Mike, would you recommend CHAPPiE?
No, I'd say skip it.
Yeah.
Go watch Short Circuit 2. There's a part where Short Circuit steals cars.
And becomes a gangster.
Los locos kick your ass! Los locos kick your face!
Los locos kick your balls into outer space!
And it's like the same scene with like our friends. Oh no, they say Short Circuit. We're part of the. They make up some fake like thing, and they're like, it's our job to open up all these cars.
See all those cars?
Yeah?
We gotta do all those cars. Or we don't even get to go home to see our families and little babies and stuff.
Oh.
Like he's like completely naive,
Yeah.
like CHAPPiE is. And
Yeah, why didn't they explain the situation in CHAPPiE like that?
No, they did. They talked to him like he was a baby. That one scene.
In
remember?
certain scenes, but
the
then
one
they're
guy
like-
was getting really angry, and then the other guy, the guy who gets kidnapped by scissors, he's like, no, let me take over. And he's
Okay,
like,
yeah.
And then they started talking like that's when they said, CHAPPiE, because CHAPPIE's like, I don't want to shoot people with guns, and they're like, no, you stab them with knives and make them go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
He's like, sleepy weepy, like. And so when that one guy, the cop, was like, don't hurt me anymore, he's like, I thought you were going to sleep.
Yeah.
CHAPPiE didn't understand.
So that happens during the violent, chaotic action scene where you have CHAPPiE throwing ninja stars at people and saying, go sleepy weepy. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, they exploited a very, very violent baby, essentially, who could throw grown men around. It's like if the Flintstones used Bam Bam to break into a bank. Bam Bam, your toys are in the bank vault.
I'd rather watch that movie about a violent baby that robs banks.
Yeah.
I am CHAPPiE.
Ah, crap!
What is it?
It looks like Hollywood has disabled the trash picker app.
Oh well. It looks like we'll have to find another way to see new movies.
I wonder where our adventures will take us next.
Hey, you guys still need me to fart a lot? I'm gonna go eat these beans. We'll do that again.